My child, have you ever noticed something strange about sleep? Every single night, you close your eyes and willingly surrender awareness. Hours pass, yet you trust that morning will come. Most people never stop to think about it. They simply fall asleep. But hidden inside this ordinary experience is a mystery that has fascinated people for thousands of years. Where is your soul during deep sleep? Not while you are dreaming, not while your mind is active, but during those moments when you are completely unaware of the world around you. Some people believe the soul remains awake. Others wonder if it rests. Many spend years searching for answers. The truth is more comforting than many people realize. Because before we understand where the soul is during sleep, we must first understand something about God Himself. While you sleep, God does not. While your awareness fades, His awareness remains complete. While your strength rests, His power never decreases. And that truth changes the way we look at every night. Think about this for a moment. The average person spends nearly 1/3 of life asleep. If someone lives 75 years, almost 25 of those years are spent sleeping. That is a remarkable amount of time. Yet most people spend more time thinking about tomorrow than they do thinking about what happens during those thousands of nights. Every evening, something remarkable happens. The worries of the day begin to fade. The noise becomes quiet. And little by little, awareness slips away. Then morning arrives. One moment you are lying in bed. The next moment, sunlight is shining through the window. Hours have passed. Time continued moving forward. The world continued existing, but you were completely unaware of it. That experience has caused countless people to ask deeper questions about life, consciousness, and the soul. Because deep sleep feels different from almost every other experience we have. Deep sleep is one of the few times each day when you completely surrender control. You cannot monitor every danger. You cannot control every thought. You cannot guarantee what tomorrow will bring. Yet every night, you trust enough to close your eyes. Whether people realize it or not, sleep is one of the greatest acts of faith they perform. And this is where Scripture begins to reveal something beautiful. Long before modern science studied sleep, David understood a spiritual truth that many people still overlook today. He wrote that he could lie down and sleep in peace because God alone made him dwell in safety. Think about that. David did not trust in perfect circumstances. He did not trust in his own strength. He trusted in God. And because of that trust, he found peace, even in difficult seasons of life. That truth has never changed. When your eyes close, God's eyes do not. When your strength fades, His strength does not. When your awareness disappears, His awareness remains complete. He knows every beat of your heart. He knows every breath you take. He knows every fear hidden deep within your soul. And He watches over you through every moment of the night. This is why sleep is more than a biological necessity. It is also a daily reminder of trust. Every night, God invites you to release control. Every night, He reminds you that you were never carrying your life by your own strength. Every night, He demonstrates that He is able to sustain you even when you are unable to sustain yourself. And that realization can bring great peace to an anxious heart. Think about your heart for a moment. While you sleep, who keeps it beating? While you sleep, who keeps your lungs breathing? Who oversees the countless processes taking place inside your body throughout the night? You do not consciously manage any of those things, yet they continue without interruption. The answer is simple. God is sustaining the life He created. Many people spend their days carrying burdens they were never meant to carry. They worry about tomorrow. They fear what might happen. They try to control circumstances beyond their power. But sleep quietly reminds them of a truth they often forget. They were never truly in control. God was. God is. And God always will be. Now perhaps you are wondering about the soul itself. What happens to it while you are deeply asleep? Does it leave your body? Does it travel somewhere else? Does it become separated from God's presence? These questions have fascinated people for generations. But before we answer them, there is something important to remember. Your soul has never existed outside of God's care. Not while you are awake, not while you are asleep, not even for a single moment. Many people become confused because of dreams. Sometimes a dream feels so real that it seems like another world. You remember faces, you remember voices, you remember emotions. Then you wake up and wonder what really happened. But not every night is like that. Some nights you remember nothing at all. You close your eyes, and suddenly morning has arrived. No memories, no awareness, only the feeling that time disappeared. And it is deep sleep that causes many people to ask questions about the soul. Consider this carefully. The Bible often describes sleep as a gift. Not a burden, not a punishment, a gift. Why? Because sleep reminds humanity of its dependence upon God. When you are awake, it is easy to believe that your effort sustains your life. But every night, sleep humbles every person. The strong sleep, the wealthy sleep, the powerful sleep. No one escapes this need. Solomon wrote that God gives sleep to those he loves. Think about that. Sleep is not simply rest for the body. It is a daily reminder that God is still governing the world, while you are not. The sun continues to rise. The oceans continue to move. The stars remain in their places. Life continues even while you are unconscious of it. And if God can govern an entire universe while you sleep, He can certainly care for your soul. Many of God's children spend their nights worrying about tomorrow. They think about finances. They think about relationships. They think about health. They think about problems they cannot solve. Perhaps you have experienced nights like that. Your body is tired, but your mind refuses to rest. The room is quiet, yet your thoughts continue racing. But worrying has never increased your ability to control the future. And fear has never made God more powerful than He already is. God does not become stronger because you worry. He does not become wiser because you panic. He does not become more capable because you stay awake all night. He remains the same God whether you are awake or asleep. That is one reason sleep can feel so spiritual. Every night presents a choice. Will you trust God enough to rest? Or will you continue carrying burdens that were never meant for you? That choice reveals more about faith than many people realize. Now, let us return to the question of the soul. Many people assume that because they lose awareness during deep sleep, their soul somehow stops existing. But think about a child sleeping peacefully in a mother's arms. The child may be unaware of the world around them, yet the child still exists. Their life continues. Their identity remains. Their value does not disappear. In a similar way, your lack of awareness during sleep does not mean your soul has vanished. Your conscious mind may be resting, but your soul remains secure in God's hands. The real you still belongs to Him. In fact, one of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that awareness determines reality. It does not. The world continues while you sleep. Time continues while you sleep. Life continues while you sleep. And God's presence remains with you, even when you are unaware of it. This truth becomes especially important during difficult seasons of life. Sometimes people pray and feel nothing. They worship and feel nothing. They read scripture and feel nothing. Then fear begins whispering that God has left them. But feelings are not facts. Just as God remains with you during deep sleep, He remains with you during difficult seasons. His presence does not depend on your emotions. His faithfulness does not depend on your awareness. God was with David in the wilderness. He was with Joseph in prison. He was with Daniel in the lion's den. He was with Paul during suffering. And He is with you today. Whether you feel His presence or not, whether you recognize His work or not, whether your emotions agree with it or not, He is still there. And that truth should bring peace to every anxious heart. There is another reason this matters. Because sleep does not only teach you about trust, it also teaches you something about eternity. Every night, hours pass without your awareness. Yet when you awaken, you discover that time continued moving forward. The world continued existing. Reality continued unfolding. That realization points toward a greater truth. You are more than the thoughts passing through your mind. You are more than your present circumstances. You were created for something eternal. The more deeply you understand that truth, the less frightening the mysteries of sleep become. Because the question is no longer whether your soul is safe during deep sleep. The question becomes this: if God keeps your soul secure every night while you sleep, what does that reveal about His power to keep you secure for all eternity? That is a question many believers never stop to consider, and yet it reveals something beautiful about the character of God. Scripture repeatedly shows that God continues working while His people sleep. When Jacob slept, God was working. When Joseph slept, God was preparing his future. When Solomon slept, God spoke wisdom. When Peter slept in prison, God was already arranging his deliverance. Again and again, the same truth appears. God does not stop working when His children fall asleep. In many cases, He is accomplishing things they cannot yet see. Think about your own life. How many prayers has God answered without your knowledge? How many dangers has He prevented without your awareness? How many times has His hand guided your path when you did not even realize it? One day, you may be amazed to discover how often God was protecting you while you knew nothing about it. That is why fear should not control your nights. God's care does not depend upon your awareness. Many people fear the unknown. Many fear losing control. Many fear what happens after death. And often, those fears grow strongest when the room becomes quiet and darkness fills the night. But for those who belong to God, the future is not held by darkness. It is held by His hands. The same God who watches over you while you sleep is the same God who watches over your eternal soul. Think about how fragile human fear really is. A small sound in the night can shake the heart. A sudden thought can disturb your peace. A silent room can feel heavier than a crowded one. But what is fear, truly? It is the feeling of forgetting who is holding you. That is why I remind you again and again, you are not holding yourself together. Your life is not maintained by your awareness. It is sustained by my power. Even when your thoughts wander into worry, my hands do not let go of you. Even when your mind cannot find peace, my presence has not moved away. My child, you were never meant to carry the weight of tomorrow. Yet many try to carry it anyway. They rehearse every possible outcome. They imagine every possible loss. They prepare for battles that have not even arrived. And in doing so, they lose the gift of today. But listen carefully. Tomorrow is not waiting for your fear. Tomorrow is already resting in my knowledge. Nothing that will happen surprises me. Nothing that will come is beyond my control. So when you lie down tonight, understand this. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into trust. Even your sleep itself is a silent sermon. It preaches without words. It teaches without sound. It reminds you without effort. It says, you are not God. And that is not a weakness. It is freedom. Because the moment you stop trying to control everything, you finally begin to rest. Every breath you take in sleep is a declaration that I am still sustaining you. Every heartbeat through the night is proof that I have not left my creation unattended. You are not forgotten in the dark. You are carried through it. So tonight, before you close...